closely reflected our generous historic tradition. It was an important and beneficial time for America's social and economic growth. It allowed us to come together as a nation and make progress together. It allowed us to take a deep, unified breath and assimilate the great wave. We desperately need the same kind of coalescing process today. The bill encourages a renewed American cohesion, restores our adherence to the rule of law, and enhances our defenses in the war on radical Islamic terrorism. Now, it is sometimes referred to, I have referred to part of this anyway, as a timeout process. We are reducing the number of people that the United States will take in by a legal immigration process, along with, of course, enhancing our enforcement capabilities. This is something I believe in. The fact is, folks, that if you look at our immigration patterns historically, they have always been cyclical. We've had periods of very high immigration, periods of very low immigration, and we have used the periods of very low immigration to assimilate the people who came during periods of high immigration. That is something we need to do again, I think, now. We've had 40-some years of massive immigration, both legal and illegal. We are not assimilating people to the extent that we need to, and this is a problem for our society. That's why I am calling for this reduction. With that, I think we'll take any questions.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the, you said eliminate chain migration. What exactly does it do?
Chain migration now is a process by which, if you come here, then you start adding your family to it. Well, this is just immediate family. Ours reduces it to immediate family.
Which means just children and spouse?
That's right.
Minor children?
That's correct.
Congressman, you've stated before that you'd like the visa lottery eliminated, and you're not the only one who's come up with that idea before.
No, we've tried it actually even on the floor in the form of, and I think, did we not pass it? Yes, we have passed that as an amendment to an appropriations bill.
Now, you would end those visas completely, or you would allocate them somewhere else for something else?
No, we end them entirely.
What's the basis for that?
Well, the whole process of the visa lottery, I mean, it's why should we have it in a way? I mean, the better question is what's its purpose? What purpose does it really serve? And do we need it anymore? And the answer, I think, is it serves no purpose, and no, we don't need it.
Congressman, can you elaborate a little bit more on the point you made that we need to assimilate the wave of immigrants that have come?
Sure. And this is a challenging point, and I know it's one of the more controversial aspects of this thing, but really, one of the indications, I think, one of the indicators of the fact that we are not assimilating people to the extent that we used to is the increased use of another language, specifically, of course, Spanish in the United States. We are essentially becoming a bilingual nation. This is, to a large extent, a result of numbers. The fact is that there are so many people here who speak a language other than English, and so many of them speaking, in this case, Spanish, that because we live in a society, I mean a capitalistic society, and you've got businesses trying to capture that market, they naturally will do those things necessary, and one of the things will be to start advertising in Spanish. All of a sudden you see a lot more of course, Spanish language television, newspapers, and the rest. Well, that just simply makes it easier for people to stay separate and to maintain a separate language in the United States, and it encourages this bilingualization of the country that I believe is happening, and that I do not believe is good. Here's the thing. Because we are a nation so diverse, because we are a nation made up of people from so many, in fact, every different culture, background, ethnicity, linguistic background. Because that's the case, we need something in the country that holds us together. I mean, America, different than almost every other country in the world, requires something that will bind its people together because they don't have a common culture, because they don't have a common background. As a result, I think language, by the way, is one of those things, perhaps the most important thing. that can bind us together. It's an indication of a willingness on the part of an individual to assimilate into the society, on the one hand. And if we require it, I mean, if we say, for instance, there will be no ballots in 2 languages, that the government will not produce documents in various languages, it's going to be in English. If we would do those things on the government side, that would try to encourage people to learn English when they get here, then I think you reduce this push toward a bilingual culture and a bilingual society. I just don't think it's good. Bilingualism on the part of individuals, I mean, for individuals, I wish I were bilingual, I wish I were multilingual. But the fact is, I mean, I think it's a fine thing for individuals. It's not a good thing for a country. And so, it is a fact of numbers. I mean, it's just a pure fact of numbers. People, there are so many that, as I say, here's what happens. You start developing these ways of dealing with it, and they're really not, I don't think, very helpful.
Congressman, yesterday, you may be aware, maybe not, a local county here, Prince William County, Virginia, passed a resolution. It's not the original resolution, but that would